Hello, 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 my brothers and sisters out there. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I got a good show for you this evening. Come on in, come on in. It's your brother Tony M. Toomer. Come on, come on, come on. We are into the weekend. I hope that you all are feeling well. I'm feeling excellent, blessed with a twist of serenity. Come on in, come on in. Got a good show tonight. I got a guest that's supposed to be popping in. So come on in, come on in. You're going to enjoy this particular topic. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I hope that you all been feeling well. Come on in, come on in, come on in. We got a good one tonight. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to get into the weekend. You're going to slide into the weekend with this show, my brothers. Yes, you are. And you're going to slide into this weekend, my sisters. Come on in, come on in. We're going to give some of you all some more time to come on in so I can jump into this content tonight. I hope that you all are feeling well. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. I can't wait to get to this show tonight. Come on in. Come on in, come on in, come on in. How you doing, mother? I see your John Hancock down there. Come on in, brothers. Come on in, sisters. Yes, yes, yes. Come on in, come on in. Give it a little more time. I hope that you all enjoying this music by my boy Genesis. He be kicking us off real good. I hope that you enjoy it. I had to give him a shout out. Come on in. How you doing, Sister Flo Harvey Martin? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Yes, yes, yes. We are in the house, my brothers. We are in the house, my sisters. How you all been doing today, my brothers and sisters? It's the weekend, baby. I hope that you all have some good, positive things that you want to do with your family and friends. I don't want you to just sit around not doing nothing. Live your life, my brothers. Live your life, my sisters. By the way, for those of you, this might be your first time looking at this broadcast. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationship pertaining to that of a man and a woman that desire to be in a covenant relationship. Well, they desire to be in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship. And guess what's about to happen? Guess what is about to happen shortly, my brothers and sisters? I got yes. And there she is, Miss Beautiful Michelle Woollard Smith in the house. How you doing, sister?
I am well, Brother Toomer, Brother Tony
yes.
Toomer.
Oh, yes, you're looking good tonight, sister.
Thank you. You too, as always, Tony.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. My brother and sister, go ahead and get 2 bags of popcorn. Go ahead and get the courtesy of Sister Flo Harvey Smith. We got a good show tonight. This sister right here, this sister got it going on, my brother and sister. She's going to come to you all from a female perspective, and we're about to roll. But first of all, I want you all to know this. Michelle, as well as I, we believe strongly in a relationship from a biblical perspective. We believe that God created man. We believe that God created a woman. That man being Adam and Eve. God did not start the world off with 2 men. He did not start the world off with 2 women. He had a purpose for that man. He had a purpose for that woman. He had a unique relationship with that man first. Then he stepped to the side with the rib of the man and he formed, and he had a unique relationship with that woman. And so it is, and that's where I come from. If you believe in any other type of relationship, my brother and sister, you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do, you know, and that's your thing. But I would encourage you to look at this particular broadcast, and not only tonight, but other night. But we are about to jump into something else. And the night's topic, and you all know I said things in 3 most of the time, is love a second-hand emotion? What you all think about that, my brother and sister? Again, is love a second-hand emotion? Some of y'all scratching your head like they're saying, is love a second-hand emotion? I done heard that somewhere before. If I was in the 80s, I'm trying to think, where did I hear that from? Michelle, do you remember that song by Tina Turner that's called What Love Got to Do with It? And what were you doing during that time?
Trying to figure out love.
You were trying to figure out love. Did you ever
I
come
was
to?
in my prime years. I think I was in high school. And honestly, I did not know what she was talking about.
You
Just trying
did.
to figure out love. I was
Love.
like, love has everything to do with it. What are you talking about?
But she also said that love is a secondhand emotion. Michelle, I want to run this by
Yeah.
you. Since
Okay.
this, we talked about this a little earlier today, but I'm gonna read something to you from a woman's standpoint. Now, let's say you Tina Turner, okay?
Okay.
Okay. The lyrics part of this song is say, you must understand the touch of the hand make my pulse react. That it's only the thrill of a boy meeting girl opposite attracts. It's physical, only logical. You must try to ignore that it means more than more. Then she went on to say the core part, what's love got to do with it? It's a secondhand emotion. What's love got to do with it? Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken? From a woman's standpoint, you Tina now, what was Tina talking about from a woman perspective when it comes to a secondhand emotion?
Knowing what I know now, Tony, Tina was trying to say, you have to understand that though the touch of your hand makes my pulse react, it's only the thrill of boy meeting girl that opposites attract. So where you might be processing this as emotional and love, it's physical. It's logical. You're a boy, I'm a girl, I'm gonna get excited.
Okay,
What's
so
love got to do with it?
Okay, what love got to do with from Tina perspective and from some women perspective, was she coming from the mindset of it just physical? Cause like sometimes when guys look at women, we more focused on how a woman look and how she's shaping all that. You know what I mean? Because on a scale between 0 and 10, I have said this many times from a position 0 and 10, we're a position of 0 and 10. When a man look at a woman, majority of the men mostly thinking about having a physical relationship with that woman. And if something comes out of it on the back end, that's how men somewhat view it, because we, and I'm a man, we can detach our mind and our emotion from, it's sad to say, from the woman. But can women actually do that too?
Let's talk about that for a second and unpack that bag.
Okay.
That's an interesting point, because as young ladies, when we're little girls, we're taught to look for a man that can take care of us. We're taught that what we need to attach ourselves to is a man that's going to give us that, a rich man that's going to give us the white picket fence and the house on the hill with the wraparound porch and the 3 kids and a dog, right? The perfect scenario. And that's usually not about his looks, it's about his money. I'm just being honest. Very rarely is it about love. You're not taught that. Now you're given that in fairy tales and Cinderella, and Disney will present that to you as a little girl. So you're given a doll baby and you're groomed from a very young little girl to look for love, but it's about who can take care of you. It's not about love at all. Now, we look for finances where y'all look for physical. We look for finances. However, one big difference in what you said and a woman is we also look for love. We think that when we attach ourselves to you and we do how we were raised from little kids to do, we cook for you, we clean for you, we take care of the household, that love comes automatically with it. So we kind of, like Babyface said it best, when 2 people get together, he said, I was looking to play around, but you were looking to stay around. And that's exactly how it is.
Well, tell me this, do you think on the average women somewhat get the physical part confused with something else? As a matter of fact, it's this part what Tina said. She said, it may seem to you that I'm acting confused when you're close to me. If I tend to look dazed, I read someplace I got caught to be. There's a name for it, there's a phrase for it that fits, but whatever the reason is, you do it for me. So what I'm asking you, do some women does it have to get to the physical part for the woman to get confused, or she get more confused sometime when it gets to the physical part?
Let me tell you why it's so confusing. We are taught, once again, we got to go back to where it started. Let's go back in the household when we had our first-hand emotion. The first-hand emotion, if I'm talking about myself, or, well, I'll say myself. If I'm talking about myself, my first-hand emotion might have been, and I'm going to do it hypothetically, it might have been where I was looking at a single parent, for instance. In my case, at a certain point, I wasn't, but then, they got divorced. So our first-hand experience with love might be a mom who gave everything she had emotionally, and it wasn't enough, and still ended up in divorce, right? Everything she had, period, and it just wasn't enough. So a little girl looked at that like, mommy cooked, mommy cleaned, mommy took care of us, mommy loved daddy, daddy loved mommy, but they're not together anymore. That's one perspective. Then she has to process, let's say it's a different little girl whose dad was never there. Mom is all she knew. Mom was abusive. Mom didn't love herself. Mom barely loves anybody that comes into her life because mom is used to being abandoned. So mom taught that little girl how to reach out to this man, that man, this man, that man, and they never stay. So now that little girl learned about abandonment with love. So now she has a fear of commitment because she's afraid of abandonment. That's our first-hand emotion that we get, right? Then as we get a little older, we're starting to look at Cinderella. She got abused by her stepmother emotionally. She was mistreated by her sisters. And then her knight in shining armor came, the prince, and rescued her and took her away. And they lived happily ever after off in the sunset. We get used to that. We're like, okay, maybe I'll get rescued. That's where that whole rescue syndrome comes from. Then you look at Hollywood, you start looking at TV. You're the one who want, you are the one who want, honey. All right? You learn about that kind of love. Again, you're getting swept off your feet. It's a lot of little ups and downs and hills and valleys, but before it's all over, he's on his knee in the subway proposing around a whole bunch of people, and they get married and live happily ever after. So now these are our perceptions of what love should be. So now you're thinking, I know love. Mommy loved dad. I'm gonna love like that. Or maybe I won't. That's where the confusion comes in. Because you see the abandonment that still happened even when mom gave her best. Then you see Hollywood where it's a 2-hour show and they go drifting into the sunset, and none of that's real. None of it is what has to do with the man that's in front of you right now that you're about to create that soul tie with, that you expect to love you forever.
Speaking of soul tie, Speaking of soul tie, it's a big difference between soul tie and soul mate. When it comes to soul tie, when a man and a woman get physically involved with, and I touched on this a little earlier, men, we can detach ourselves away from it. So when a man and a woman become physically intimate, do you think at that particular time that can really be a confusing thing with a woman when that she give her body to a man? Do you think that's when she could really get confused?
Yeah, because we're also taught that that's a gift, that is one of the most precious thing we have. So we start to associate a lot of value with that region of our body, okay? Mm-hmm. And a lot of other people teach us that our cooking is another way to a man's heart, okay? So between your cooking and other parts of your body, you begin to think that that's all you need. Or maybe a big butt, or maybe big boobs, or maybe long hair, maybe light skin. Whatever the thing is, it's embedded in you that's what should get the love. That's where, And then you got the Hollywood version of it where they look a certain way. And those are the people that they portray as worthy of love. I think a lot of times people tend to think that lust is love. I want to know from those that are looking now, when did you realize that love and lust were two different things? I really want to know that. Like, what age were you when you realized love and lust are two totally different things? There's a difference between love and lust. I want to see if anybody remembers that age. How Betty Wright said, "Come on now, I want y'all to play catch up. Don't you get too." I don't want y'all to wait till we get too far in and say, "Oh yeah, no, I remember."
They're scared. They're scared. They're scared. Well, tell me this: if a woman get confused at that point, let's say for instance, the man be straight up with the woman and say, "Look, I just want to. I don't want to give this relationship really no name. I just want to see where it will go." And then he treat her like she's the number one woman, right? But he won't per se say, he won't even title it as a relationship. You know, he's still away from those words. And then he won't even say, "I love you," but he might say, "I love you" during the course of that physical thing. So you think at that particular time, he don't tell the woman, "I love you" outside of the bed, right? But he wait till you get out right at that particular moment to tell the woman that he love her. When he say "I love you" at that particular time, does that cause more confusion for a woman too?
He loves what they're doing at the moment. He
Yeah,
loves that region of her, that part of her that we're talking about. And men will say "I love you" during the, you can't believe no pillow talk. But the other part of that is, how can I put this delicately without being too, because Tony, you do it so well, but I'm like, oh, okay, let me think.
Bam!
Let me think, okay. See, the thing is, a woman thinks, okay, how can I put this? Signature moves. A lot of women feel like if they put it on him just the right way. But the problem is that she got in the bed with him in the first place. You said he wasn't ready to give her a title, then she shouldn't have given him her body. Because at the end of the day, a lot of times what happens is we move so fast thinking, oh, if I let him see this booty, or if I let him have this booty, then I'll be able to keep him. But what she doesn't realize is he didn't come there to stay. Not only that, but just because he's there, it might be where he is, but that ain't where he want to be. And if he won't even give you a title, because see, now we're speaking not to the little, I just met this guy, boy meets girl, and boy and girl go and create a soul tie. Let's think about ones who've been in the relationship they're in now for years. And you got men that's still doing that, and it's been years. Now, we're not talking about, I just met you last week. You've been with this man for years, and yet he will not marry you. Why should he? You see, the second-hand emotion might be that he watched his father and his mother never get married. Or he watched his father separately from the mother, who had this woman, that woman, this woman, that woman, didn't marry any of them, and he gets to keep all of them. So that's his second-hand emotion, like, oh, this is not how I am, but then again, Dad got away with it. I'm going to do it too. So that's the main reason. I think he does it because she lets him and because he can. There's a difference between a man who loves you and a man who just loves access to you. And if you open the door, like my father used to say, if the door wasn't kicked in, you let him in.
Yeah, well, tell me, like, when a young girl is growing up in the home, let's say that her father is not around, right? And she sees different men coming through in front of her, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think that can somewhat get embedded on that young girl's subconscious, and she get confused and say, okay, this must be with love here, even though these different men might be coming over there, they might be dropping off some money or whatever, but then they see their mama going into the room with that man, and like the little children don't supposed to know what be going on. Y'all look at TV or do all that, you know what I mean? Then they hear their mama in there doing monkey double backflips and stuff in there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
do you think that can confuse?
Restless.
You think that can confuse a young girl later on? She thinking, okay, this is what Laura's supposed to be, based on the
I think,
action of her
yeah,
mother.
I do, Tony. What I think is one of the things that I think is most important, and I'm not talking from a professional standpoint. This is just from me with life. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist, but what I will say is I do know about real life in my own life. And what happens is you look at a woman who decided to make herself available to men who were emotionally unavailable to her. Okay. And so what she's taught her daughter is you give people who are not the ones that dip in, dip out, dip in, dip out, dip in, dip out. We don't realize that we're imitating that same thing because we've got some years with this one and some years with that one and some years with that one, but the end result is still the same. None of them married your mother and none of them have married you. So if you keep doing that and nothing has changed, let's remember what just changed. Nothing. So you're going to keep getting the same end result. And that's what we have to. Mommy didn't love herself. Maybe the second-hand emotion has to be that you look at what mom did, and your emotion has to be, I don't want that end result. So now you've got to change your now so that you can get a better tomorrow. I mean, that's just what it is. Because we're imitating. We're imitating what we saw.
Okay, well, tell me this: when, like, if a man come up and he appears to be well-to-do, okay, he appear to be well-to-do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think most women, not all women, but from your opinion, do you think most women make their decision to get into a relationship with a man based off his assets? And
Yeah, I think just
then she
like if
learns
you
to
take,
love, then but that's a second-hand emotion. So do you think most women think business first and then emotion second, or emotion first and then business secondly?
I think we think business first, security first. I think the love we think is going to be natural. You think if a man is financially stable, that he's capable of loving you. You just kind of think that all goes together. It goes with the fairy tale. So yeah, I mean, that's a bonus that he has money. I don't speak for all women. All I can say is I know we have a tendency to look the other way on some things when they have money. Oh, he's in a little relationship, but he's interested in me, so maybe I could.
Well, well, tell me this. I know that you talking good now. We finna talk. Tell me this. Like, say for example, you ain't got to tell us all the plays from the woman playbook, but anyway, tell me this. When, let's say for example, it's a woman and a couple of her girlfriends, right? And her girlfriend knows this particular guy that's interested in her friend. When does the conversation come up? Does it basically come up how he look or how he built, or the first conversation is what does he do as far as resources go?
Honestly, as a hairstylist, what does he do? I have entertained thousands of women, okay, between admissions at several beauty schools over the last 20 some years and being in the salon and in the barbershop. What does he do? Oh, I met a guy. Oh, really? What does he do?
But you
What
know
does
how
he do?
you know what how men normally talk.
I can, yeah, I do, but I'm gonna let you tell it because I was in the barbershop too.
Did you see that? Yeah. What would you do with that? You know what I do with? I would do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what you know about her? You know what you know, what you heard about her, you know what I mean? And let me tell you something else too. And this firsthand experience, when I was in the single part, right? In the single, well, like Cameo says, the single life. It did one particular time where it can happen at any time. If you take a young lady around your guy friends, right? You take your young lady around your guy friends. So you said this is Miss whatever. I call her Miss Strawberry. This is Miss Strawberry. This Miss Strawberry. This is my boy. This my boy. This my boy. This my boy. So everybody go through these little pageant, these little pleasantries, right? So time that woman get up and say, like, let me go to the restroom or something like that. Let's say she go with other ladies too, right? When she get out of eyesight, what you think the conversation turned to immediately?
If it was a group of women, we talk about his assets. If
Mm-hmm.
it's a group of men, we take the E-T. We take the, how is asset spelled? A-S-S-E-T.
A-S-S-E-T. Yeah.
Let's just focus on the first three letters. That's what they talk about.
Okay, yeah, yeah. This what happened. Like, say for example, if it was you and I introduce you to some of the guy friends, I'm talking about from my younger life, okay? You and I'm young, and we single, and I introduce them to my boy. I say, okay, this is Michelle, and then you flash a little pretty smile in front of them, right? And then once you go to the bathroom, you like say, I'll be back, Tony, I'm going to the bathroom. And let's say some of the other women, they go to the bathroom with you too. And this is the basic conversation, right?
Yeah.
Hey man, have you hit that yet? That be the basic conversation the moment. Have you hit it yet? And then depending on how you answer the question, if you say something like yeah, and you know the next follow-up question,
how was it?
How was it? What did she do? What did you do? And then if the woman come back, the conversation go somewhere real quick, like we would talk. Then we could probably start talking about sports and everything, right? But this is what I learned. This is what I learned a long time ago. And this is what some of my friends they used to not like. They say I used to be like a politician, right? So like, for example, that same scenario that I just brought to you. Okay, same scenario, you go to the bathroom. Hey Tony, have you hit that yet? What do you think? I don't know, man. We tell you what that we done did stuff. Why you got to be so different? You either hit it or you didn't. What do you think? Cause you see, I know how they be thinking, right? Because they want play by play. And let me tell you something there, what I learned. If a man tell other guys play by play on a woman, guess what's gonna happen? You put what you doing, you directing, you producing, you're writing the script into their head, right?
Let
So
me tell you,
guess what?
Tony,
They gonna
men are worse than women.
Too, huh?
Women are just as bad. Men are just as bad as women. And when I say secondhand emotion, you just put that action in motion. Mm-hmm. That's your secondhand you. You just told those men how to not only that she's easy, because you just bringing them around the guys. They just met her. So that means you probably didn't meet her that long before that. And then it's the secondhand emotion. Again, they're going off of what you just said. And it's secondhand, but they're going to try her later. If not, I mean, they're going to try her if sometimes while you're still with her. That's how they do.
Okay, I got a good bomb for you. I talked about this a few nights ago. What do you think? What do you think men think about women on the first date and they have sex?
Wait, personally,
hold on. Let me put my eyebrow up. Go ahead.
I just have to be very honest. Honestly, I don't think a man can respect a woman. That there are men who say that they don't care and they whatever. I don't think a decent man is going to be able to respect that. I think she goes into a category.
Let me tell you.
I think she goes into the easy access category, and that's all she'll ever be.
Well, that's some truth to that too. But it's some relationships that, and it really, if you do it God way, God don't want to have sex outside of being married anyway. But majority of us did not do it God way. Majority of that gets married more than likely before you got married, especially in the United States of America. More than likely that man and woman have had a physical relationship before they got married. Right. But Sometimes some men look at women like, okay, if she give it to me the first time, her body to me the first time. Some men put a woman in the category like, man, you know, in their mind, they might not say nothing to the woman. She was too easy, and I don't want that. But then on the other hand, there are some guys that have slept with women and ended up being in a relationship with a woman and ended up getting married to the woman. So that could go either way. But from God perspective,
I
huh?
don't think she should play herself like that, though, Tony. Regardless of whether he would categorize her one way or the other, she, as a self-respecting woman, should put herself in a better position to win. And if you met this man on the first night, there is absolutely no possible way you could know enough about him to sleep with him. No way. Is he HIV positive? Does he have AIDS? Does he have a wife? Is he in a committed relationship? Is he on the down low? I mean, it's too much that's going around now. Did he test positive for COVID earlier today? It's too much going on. It's beyond just sexually transmitted stuff now. You can cough on me and infect me or get me, you know, whatever. So I just don't want to be that close, let alone in a bed with the man that I just met. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying personally for me, I don't think that's enough time. I don't care how he feels about it. I don't care what category he wants to put me in where, oh, I'll still respect you in the morning. I know you will. That's just me though. And I just feel like you're setting yourself up for the downfall. It can't go anything but down from there. Because you've already done, there's nothing else to wonder about. You think he really wants to know your personality? If he
Not,
did, he'd wait for you. He wouldn't have to get you sexually. He would just wait and talk about, he would want to know. I know a man right now, my son is the man I'm talking about. He would rather not deal with the woman sexually if she refuses to let him know who she is internally. What is your deep-seated, who are you? What is your, he wants to know things about her spiritually, things about who she is as a person. If she cannot go in, and if she actually shows that she doesn't love herself, that's another secondhand emotion. Men look at how you think about yourself, and they look at the emotions that you attach to you, and they mimic that. That's secondhand too. They're taking a clue from you. If you don't love yourself, why should he?
well, tell me this, like when we look at social media and everything, speaking of that, and you see some ladies, men do it too, but when a lot of sisters, they be showing a lot of their assets on social media. Do you think some of them, not all of them, but do you think if they have to show a lot of their assets, are they looking for validation? Are they looking for love? What they looking for?
I think a lot of women have learned to lead with their behinds. And when you lead from behind, you get left behind. That's just what it is. What I mean is when I say lead from behind, I'm talking about with your butt. So when you're you taking a picture, but you taking it from behind where you got to look back, then you're advertising. And people will either choose to buy into what you're offering, which is you got your back to the camera. You're advertising your butt. You're advertising your body. So what do you think people are going to find important? You're putting it out there that way. So I think that a lot of times it just comes from learning that's how you do. A lot of times, again, you get that secondhand from unfortunately, a lot of parents are that way. And their little
Okay.
girls just watch silently.
Okay, like when some of them do it, and I have read some, when I notice, when I look at the comments and stuff like that, it be a lot of guys, they be making comments on it, right? They be trying to gaslight the woman like, you're so beautiful, you're a goddess, I want to drink your bath to a water and all that kind of stuff. What does that supposed to do for the woman's psyche? I mean, what does that supposed to do for the woman's psyche?
So again, because a lot of women, we're not willing to do the inner work. We don't even know that we need to do the inner work so that we can feel our self-worth without any person validating us. we don't know how to do that. So we look for it from an external source. So it feels good. I mean, a lot of times when you're getting these compliments, it's just a way for you to feel better about yourself. It's validation for yourself. So a lot of women do that because they don't have the self-esteem.
Well, tell me
They
that.
don't have the high self-esteem.
Well, tell me this: when a man approach a woman and he come off to her in a positive way, right? And he spend time with her.
Mm-hmm.
How, I know this is a hypothetical. How long
Sure.
do you think it normally take for a woman probably to get emotionally attached to the man minus the physical part? Does it take over a year or
I
what?
can only speak from, you said, no, wait, are you asking how long before she gets emotionally attached?
Emotionally attached to the man, like say for instance he's good and he's not trying to press her on the physical part and stuff like that, but he's treating her real well. What does she be looking for to let
I'm
her
gonna tell you
say?
how it goes with me. I can only speak for myself, Tony.
Okay,
And of course I have clients that I can speak for, but I'm gonna speak for me just to be fair.
okay, go ahead.
When I meet someone, inside my head says processing, processing, processing. So I'm looking for certain clues, right? And there's some things that he says, and I'm like recalculating, recalculating. So it really just depends. But yeah, because we are emotional creatures, men think, women feel. That's the men are from Mars, women are from Venus. So we associate emotions, me personally, right away. To what degree is the difference? But, I always say that when I meet someone, I go right into the discovery stage. I used to want to know about you. I mean, I used to want you to know about me. When I was immature, I used to want you to know about me. So I would go through all the shenanigans of telling you about me, and the little stuff you used to do in the chat line. I like blockbuster movies and nice walks on the beach and dinner in the movie type stuff. But now, as a mature woman, I know it's more important for me to learn about you. And I also know that I'm not going to give you anything. I want to see if you're interested in finding things out about me. I want to hear what you're asking me about. I want you to be interested in getting to know me. So I'm listening. Tell me about you. Let me know who you are. What are you looking for? What do you aspire to do? Where do you see yourself? I'm not giving him like the 50 questions, but I want to know about you. And I want to see what you want to know about me. If you don't have any questions for me, it's likely that what you're interested in has nothing to do with what's in here or
Okay,
in my heart.
well, tell me this. Let's say a man and woman, they meet briefly and they decide to go like on a dinner date or whatever. Let's say you add a level, cause I know I wasn't thinking this way what I'm about to say when I was younger, a little younger. I could have been a young adult, but when a man sit down at a table with a woman, let's say they at this little nice restaurant and stuff, right? How important does a woman zero in on whether that man have a relationship with God or not? The average woman.
You said, wait, your question is how important is it, or what was the question?
Do you think the average woman be thinking when that man be in front of her, does this man have a relationship with God or not, or that don't be too much in the forefront of her mind?
Only if she's a godly woman. If she's not a godly woman, it won't matter.
Okay, if she's not a godly woman, but she could say it's something peculiar about this guy, you know what I mean? And then she could have been on dates and stuff with guys that don't do nothing as simple as take the woman's hand and pray over the food. You know, that's something foreign to her. Or he like in the restaurant, he makes sure that he's facing the door, you know what I mean? Not her facing the door. And then he walks her out to the car and everything. So
a gentleman.
Yeah, a gentleman. Do you think that that kind of throw most women off when a man kind of that way?
I wouldn't say it throws us off. I think that when it's real, because a lot of times they do it still to get in your pants. Men will do whatever it takes, and they know they'll be ready to jump through fiery hoops to get to you, especially if you put up a challenge. Oh, they love that challenge.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like the
true.
caveman.
Yeah,
They
I
love
agree
it.
with that. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. So
Mhm.
if it's real, she will know right away. Women, we do know. We have a thing. We have a secret little thing for a godly man. It's nothing like it. So if she's godly, she'll appreciate that, and she will know it immediately. But if she's an ungodly woman, I don't mean that to be like, oh, I'm judging godly and ungodly. I mean, but if it's not important to her that he be godly, then it won't matter. If he brings that to the table, it might be a turn off. You got a lot of women that want to go to bed the first night. They want to skip right to. I don't know personally, like
It's
you know
true.
better than I do.
Believe me, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. Some years ago, I met this sister, right? And we met at this restaurant. So we ate dinner and
Sister
everything.
Tony,
Huh?
you mean a woman, not a sister like the church sister, but
No, oh, okay.
never
Not a
mind.
church sister. It was just a woman, you know, it was just a woman.
Okay.
So I'm staying in my city, she's staying in her city. So we decided, you know, we're gonna meet at this certain restaurant, right? So when we met at this certain restaurant, we got finished eating and everything, and she started looking at me in a peculiar way, right? And it was in the middle of the week, and I had to get back home because I had to go to work the next day. So we at this restaurant and we were talking, had a good conversation. So she got real quiet. The guy, he brought the ticket out, I paid for the food and everything. And I said, well, it's time for me to get on the road, and it's time for you to get on the road. And when you get there, you know, just let me know that you got home. And she said, what do you mean it's time to get on the road? I said, well, I, I, I got to go to work tomorrow, and I think you got to go to work tomorrow, Chris. She said, yes, I do. But I'm an adult, you're an adult, and I just want to know something. I'm gonna be straight to the point. I said, what? She said, are you going to screw my brains out tonight? That's all I need to know. And I said, um, I thought about it now, but you see, the devil was right here, and the angel was right here, right? And the angel was saying, Tony, get in your car and go home. And the devil was saying,
Right.
hey, you can call in. You can go late to work tomorrow.
So got a personal day.
I was listening to both of them, right? So when I got in the car, I didn't hear from that sister no more at all. So what you saying, it's something that they
It'll
are
throw her off. Yep.
Yeah, they're that aggressive, and they would do it.
I've heard that in the barbershop and the beauty shop. I've heard men say that women thought they were gay because they chose that route that you chose.
They're
I've had women.
Mm-hmm. They'll ask
they'll ask you if you,
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, women like that take it personal. They take it personal when you, go back in the room, please. They take it personal when you don't take what they're offering you. Because again, they always think that they can lead with their butts. They can lead with what's behind. And when you lead with that, you get left behind. You still have your behind when he leaves, but that's all you have. You get left behind. So yeah, I think there are a lot of women that will be thrown off by a Christian brother, if that's your question. Yeah. Thrown off. And what if you left with that, just that? Women, I'm asking the women in the audience, I want to know, women, can you accept a man truly? Because we say what we want. You better be careful though, because God may send him to you. And he may be the guy that's not coming on to you. And can you still feel beautiful if a man is not coming on to you? Can you still feel value if he's not asking you for that? Can you still feel appreciated if you guys go somewhere and you engage with this brother and you guys are constantly engaging with this brother and he doesn't approach you in that way? What does that do to your psyche? I just want to know, because some of us don't know how to handle that. Some women lead with their behind.
Okay, if they lead with their behinds, and and let's say they leave what they behind, and then when they don't get nothing out of it, let's say that the man do what he's gonna do, and then he finished and he don't contact her like when she think, he don't text her for some days, he don't call her for some days. She call him, it go to his voicemail, she texts him, and then all of a sudden, what you doing?
Easy access. Easy access. Just because he it doesn't mean he wants you. He just still wants that access to you. Period.
Yeah. Okay. When back to the man at the table, when, like, let's say for example, a man, he's falling after the Lord. Okay, he's trying to follow after the Lord, and he tell this woman straight up, look, I need a woman in my life to be, this is a big word that really gets some women. I'm looking for a woman that's going to be submissive. And then he paused. What do you think the word submissive would probably mean to the average woman?
Well, I think today's women would see submission in somewhat of an offensive way. Some women, not all, like how you say, Tony, some women, not all, would be a little offended by the word. Okay. If he said meek or humble, that might work better for her. But if he says submissive, then the opposite of that is dominance. So you have to kind of question, is he meaning like in sexual terms? You got subs and dommies in S&M.
Mm-hmm.
Or does he mean I need a woman who will be subservient to me, who will honor the position that the Bible speaks of a woman being in, as the man being the head of the household, Christ being the head of God, and God above Jesus Christ. So if we're talking about that part, that's one thing. But if he's talking about submissive, who are you that I should be submissive to you? I mean, if he's looking for a submissive, what they say, Tony? Somebody saying something?
Yeah, Brother Nate said, can two believers be unequally yoked? We always talk about getting someone saved. Brother Nate, yes, two people that are believe they can be unequally yoked, because when it comes to a relationship, not only should this man and woman be in Christ together. First of all, man and woman, they need to believe in the same thing, because that's the number one. You got to believe in the same thing. If a man believes in Christ and a woman believes in Buddha, and then it can't be no compromise on that. You got to believe, because that's very, very critical what you believe in. Now, what also comes with that is, I call it forms. I call it FORMS. What do I mean by that? After the spiritual part, we talk about F stand for family, O stand for occupation, R stand back to the spiritual part for religion, M stand for money and sex. So when the man and woman is talking about their belief and stuff like that, okay, I could see she's on the same path with me. Then the man and woman need to start talking about family, what her perspective is on family and what his perspective on family. He might not want a family. She might do. She might like to be with the family. He might don't want to be the family. Then when it comes to occupation, you got to work, because love, the emotion part, don't pay no bills and stuff.
That's right.
So is she gonna work? Is he gonna work? How it's gonna go? The man need to be working, first of all, because when you go all the way back to the Garden of Eden, before God created Eve, when he had the Garden of Eden, and he placed the man in Eden. So the man had somewhere to stay. Then he gave this man this job to cultivate. He had a job. And then he named the animals and everything. He had responsibilities. You know what I mean? So when the woman came, the man was already together, because God set him up. So no man should even think about no relationship with no woman unless he have himself together. He can't be getting himself together. He shouldn't be staying with his mama. He shouldn't be staying with other people, another woman and all that. He should be stand in his little Eden, even though it's not perfect. He need to have everything together. And when this man had everything together, if God will bring, if this man falling after God, God will handpick a woman to come and be in his view some kind of way, and he will be able to spot the one, whether it's a gas station, a mall, or whatever. Because God, like, for example, how he brought Boaz and Ruth together. You know what I mean? Ruth wasn't thinking about no man when she came with Naomi. You know what I mean? When she came with Naomi, all Ruth was thinking about, I got to survive. I got my mother-in-law here. We got to survive. God used all that stuff, even though Ruth lost her first husband. God used that situation, and she actually landed on Boaz's property. Boaz, he seen other women before he seen Ruth, but what was Boaz had everything together when he met Ruth. When he met Ruth, he had everything together. So what did Boaz do? Boaz seen something in Ruth that he did not see in other women. Other women, he seen them, you know, because they was working on his property. You know what I mean? So when Boaz stepped up to Ruth, what Boaz did, he asked his farmer or the supervisor over everyone, he wanted to know a background thing on Ruth. So the guy, he said, okay, that's she came back with Naomi. So he found out that, oh, she close to our relative, you know what I mean? So when Boaz found out all this, what Boaz seen in this particular woman, Boaz seen God's presence in his woman. He seen that gift. She had a gift. Boaz was able to see it. Some people think that it don't say how Ruth looked and all that kind of stuff. Boaz seen something deep in that woman. She had the Lord presence in her. That's why she stood out. And at that particular time, Boaz thinking in his mind, I could see myself taking care of that woman. I could see myself protecting the woman, because this is what he did. He made sure that he told his boy, make sure she gets a little extra stuff. You know what I mean? He also said, don't bother her. You know what I mean? Even it came to dinner, Boaz and Ruth had dinner together, and he made sure she was fed up. You know what I mean? So Boaz, God used that situation to introduce Boaz and Ruth together. And it did go along with family and then occupation. Boaz had his stuff together, Ruth had herself together. Then you come to the religion part. He knew by looking at that woman that they believed in the same God. Not only that, and then there's another thing too. We talking about money, resources. You know what I mean? Boaz had the resources. He knew that that woman, she was working for resources, so she brought some more stuff into it. Even though she was working on the property, he's saying that he didn't have no lazy woman. Ruth was the classical Proverb 31 woman.
Right.
And then the most important thing to what men supposed to discuss after family, occupation, religion, money is they need to talk about sex, because sex is a very important thing in a relationship. Some people don't want to even talk about sex. God created sex, and sex is a beautiful thing if it's done in the right way. My thing is, a man and woman need to talk about that family, occupation, religion, money, and sex, because those 5 important aspects of a relationship. I don't know what you did, Michelle, but you have blanked out. So come on back in, Michelle. I'm gonna wait till Michelle come back in, because she have done just like Casper the Friendly Ghost. Michelle come back on into the show. But anyway, my brother and sister, let me tell you this before Michelle come back. When it comes to a relationship, the topic is love a second-hand emotion? My brother and sister, love, if you look at it from the right way, Cheryl said, freezing. Am I still freezing? When it comes to, I don't know what that, okay, come on back in, Michelle. I hope that you come back in. Eat your hamburger later, Michelle, but come on back in. When it comes to love, my brother and sister, love is a very, very important thing when it comes between a man and a woman. Because in John 3:16, oh, thank you, brother. in John 3:16, it say, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that everyone who believes in him shall not perish and have eternal life. So what did God do? This is what God did. Let me see. Michelle is coming back. Let me bring her back. Come on back in, Michelle. Come on back in. Can you all? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm so sorry. I went to try to do something. I was looking for something while you were doing your acronym for forms. Uh-oh, wait a minute. I don't want to do that. I messed up because you were right. There were some things that you said that I totally agree with, and you were talking about submission. And I think it's important that we pay attention, ladies, because I do believe that what's happened now is because of the world that we live in today. A lot of women have had to take man roles and be the head of households. And a lot of times that gets us confused about submission. And that's really another problem that we're having, because we're used to taking care of our own bills. You know, we're used to raising our own children. We have our own house, our own cars, we have good jobs. And so when a man brings up the word submission and you're used to doing all that by yourself, it can throw you off a little bit. It can make you feel like, you know, wait a minute, where you coming from with this foolishness, you know? But I think being academically yoked, you know, if she's very intelligent, she's gone to college, or she's gone to just through life, through hard knocks, she's intelligent, and he's dumb as a box of rocks, that's gonna be kind of hard to deal with, because they can't even hold a conversation. What if she has a really decent job and she needs a +1, you know, to have him come to the parties with her at the Christmas parties, and he's the type that can't even hold a conversation? That's going to be a problem. It's going to be kind of like embarrassing. Or if she's dumb as a box of rocks. And I don't mean to be mean, but when the brother said, can two Christians still be unevenly yoked? Yeah. What if you are a gamer and you think that occupying, you know, sitting in front of the TV and playing games all day is your thing, but she's athletic and she likes to go work out and go to the gym? She wants to go mountain climbing, kayaking, and doing outdoor stuff. And you think being in the house playing the game all day is where it's at. Y'all gonna have a problem. You're gonna have a problem. So yeah, it's a lot of other things to think about. In addition to forms, there are a lot of other things to think about. Spiritually, you can be in the same church and the same message is being preached by the pastor, and y'all walk away with two totally different things. You see,
you got a point.
Y'all can hear the same pastor and still go home and have HELL in the house after church, before and after church. I know people it happens to.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can hear me. Okay. When a man come to talk to a woman, do she discern this part, whether this guy about we, us, and our, or does this woman discern that the man is about me, myself, and I? What do you think about that?
Can she tell if he's about we and us and our, or
yeah,
is she
compared
thinking
to him? When she listening to him, does she like say he's about we, us, and our, or me, myself, and I? Does a woman be thinking that way?
It can be kind of hard to read. It can be kind of hard to read with some men. Some men make it crystal clear that they're not looking for us, we, and our. And some men kind of disguise it a little bit. They kind of, you know, I remember that. You remember, they'll dangle like the little steak in front of you and make you feel like you can get that from them. But really, they just trying to get what you got.
Got a point there. But you see, what some of these sisters, you need to understand that when you listening to a man talk to you, you need to have that wax out of your ears and be listening. Don't hear him. You need to listen. You need to listen to those key phrases: we, us, and our. Because that means that this man, he's somewhat thinking about you and him possibly having a future together, whereas he just talk about, this is what I do. you know, this is me, myself. So he's showing her when a guy be talking a lot like this, and some women, these type of people, they are somewhat leaning toward being a narcissist. And if a woman mess up and she get into a relationship with a man that is a narcissist is a person that thinks that the world, a woman could be a narcissist too. But if she get messed up with a narcissist, she need to realize that this man, he put himself on a pedestal, and he want this woman to keep him on a pedestal, and he gonna be gaslighting her, and he want her to think that you got to depend totally on me for your happiness. And during that particular time, these type of individual men that is, they start talking bad to the woman because they don't want they won't get a woman no compliment. They would tell her you got cellulite and all that kind of stuff to beat her down. Whereas this other guy out there, he's talking to her. And tell me this, sister, why is it that when a man, he really show a woman that he really into her, but she rather deal with a clown, and she not at the circus, but she want to deal with this clown?
A lot of women are so used to having to pick the pieces of their lives up that if a man is not exciting and don't explode into drama, she'll blow it up just to be able to pick her little pieces up again. She's gotten used to associating pain with love. She's gotten used to associating drama with love. She's gotten used to a man that talks a certain way to you and treating you a certain way, but y'all stayed together. So she, again, that's that secondhand emotion you got from your mama, who got her brains beat almost out of her head and was making shrimp and grits for him the next day or the same night. You see? And so we get caught up in love means you're going to hurt sometimes. And I will say that love can be, we talked about it earlier today, Tony. You have to, whenever you're talking about love, you have to have forgiveness, and you have to be willing to accept the fact that they are not perfect. So you have to be able to accept imperfection and be ready to forgive. I think that we get so used to to love doing a certain thing that when it doesn't, then we'll leave the good man to go back to what we're used to, because that's where we were. That's what we resonate with love. And once we see it a certain way, that's what we look for. But the problem with that too, Tony, is that we don't love ourselves. So when you don't love self, you're depending on that external clown. You're depending on him to bop you across your head or say horrible things. A lot of times the same one that tears you down, you want him to be the one to build you up. It doesn't matter that good guy over here is telling you how good you look. I'll pay your bills. I'll take care of you. I'll love you. I won't cheat on you. It doesn't matter. You used to clown guy over here that calls you the B word and F you this and F you that. You're used to him because that's what you've associated with love. I mean,
Well,
love doesn't hurt, but they'll kaboom you. They'll blow it up just so they can pick their little pieces up.
okay, when a woman is with a man that's really dogging her out and stuff, and she go talk to her family, she go talk to her friends, she go talk to her co-workers, she put it out there on social media. For them, all these experts out there on social media to give their advice, and all they're actually doing is chewing popcorn and enjoying the show. But she
Right.
telling all these people that, and these people, some of them might tell her some legitimate thing that she need to do, but she won't leave this guy. Why you think she won't leave? Do you think she so emotionally tied to this man where she don't think it's a ram in the bush out there for her somewhere?
If I tell you the answer, Tony, I'm going to offend some people. But the answer is self-loathing. They hate themselves. And they don't feel like they're worthy of anything greater than that. So rather than have to raise the bar and deal with Mr. Good Guy, they rather go ahead and deal with the clown, because then they don't have to be anything but who they are, and they don't feel they deserve a good guy anyway. So it's a lack of self-worth, Tony. It's a lack of
Well,
self-esteem.
why would they keep telling people how this man are doing them, and she still ain't no lead? Because some people, they'll get tired of it, and when the woman turn around, they start talking about her.
Well, in my experience as a hairstylist, and this is why I got out of it, I had one lady, she came to me and she said, a woman said, I think, and then she started to cry. She said, I know my boyfriend is touching my daughter,
Mm.
and I don't know what to do.
Mm.
I looked at her and I knew it wasn't a joke, but I waited like for the rest of the story. Wait, you said you know he's touching your daughter and you don't know what to do? She said, when my stepdaddy touched me and I told my mama not only beat me for lying, but she stayed with him. And I understood in that moment, she was telling me, and that's why I'm still here. A lot of times, again, there's that secondhand emotion. We associate love with what we saw, with what we learned love was, and what we learned love did. Mama had a toolbox with tools about love. And all y'all saw mama do was love the kids, love the man, even when he beat her, love the work, love her job. But you never saw mama love herself. And as soon as you got old enough, and this is a secret you might need to know, I'm going to go ahead and tell this part. Most women want to be just like their mom. We do. And we don't see anything wrong with that. And so when we imitate mama, and mama made it through, and we see mama as the strongest woman we know, we think that that's the way we're going to look to our children when we do it too. Mama survived.
That's something, because you see, from a man's standpoint, what you just said, some men will look at it like analytical, right? Most men would say that analytical. Well, you see this man doing it to your daughter, you need to just get up and walk away or call the police. But I know that it's an emotional part, because I I know that stuff like that happens, and a man cannot understand from a woman perspective, because we are not no man. The only thing a man can do is empathize on what going on. You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
that's
And what
that's
she's
something.
also saying, Brother Toomer, is that man bothered me and I survived. So if I got raped by my mama's boyfriend and I'm strong like I am today, my daughter will be okay. And I can't find no other man that's gonna love me like he does. He loves you because he has access to your child that he's molested. He don't even want you. But because you don't love yourself, you can't love your daughter. And your daughter's gonna do just what you did, like you doing what your mama did. And if you don't break that cycle, brother, you gotta literally go to the sometimes women in the church, you have to be careful too, because we've all been through stuff. But I think that ultimately we've been through things so we can help young ladies like her. I put both of my hands on her shoulders and I said, baby, I don't know how to say this to you, but because I am an educator, I cannot allow your daughter to stay in that environment. So if you do not remove her, I have to report it. I'm sorry. Because I knew that she was telling me she didn't have the strength to do it. I said, you get her some help and you get her out of that environment. If you want to stay with that man, you stay with that man. But get your baby out of there. She don't deserve that.
Well, in a situation like what you just said, if a lady don't get counseling and she just try to deal with it as she go on, and if she doesn't get no kind of counseling, that can affect her relationships, in the future, because she haven't dealt with that. Even though she could go through the motion and try to be good, but that thing still in her mind and in her heart, and it haven't been resolved. And sometimes she can like her husband could say, "What's wrong with you?" Cause it could seem like she probably something, you know. Then he have to zap her out of it. You know what I mean? And he know that something probably is wrong with her because there's a lot of women that have been touched by family members or some kind of body that affecting that woman's mind right now. But some women, like some men, they don't want to go to counseling. You know what I mean? They
But
just don't
Tony,
for some reason.
but what people don't get is that's also a secondhand emotion because we've processed what has occurred with us the way our mama did. And so how mama processed it like, oh, well, it's no big deal. So we process it the same way. Secondhand emotion. You see, what does love have to do with that? Nothing. So it's a whole lot of, if you want to take your first life experiences, your first-hand emotions, and you want to get above that because your first hand comes from mama and daddy or grandmama, granddaddy, okay? Your first-hand emotions. Look at those emotions, my brothers and my sisters that's listening to this. Look at those emotions. Draw a line in the sand. This was them. This was me. This happened to them. This happened to me. I'm going to process that this way. Let me tell you what I did for myself. I looked at my baby picture. I was going through some things in my house and I brought my family, my little book out. And I was flipping through and I saw my high school graduation picture. I flipped through a little further and I saw my baby picture. I might have told you this story, Tony. And I began to cry uncontrollably because I saw my little 8-year-old too. And I looked at that baby and I thought about what my baby, from the baby to 8 years old, had been through already. And I said, my God, to my 8-year-old baby, you went through so much. And if it wasn't for you going through so much, I couldn't have made it to the 17-year-old high school graduate. You went through a lot. Then I looked at the age from 8 years old to 17 years old. And I thought about what I went through. And I said, oh my God, babies. Oh my God. I said, I told you you were going to be this when you grew up. And fortunately, all I wanted to be was a hairstylist. Thank God I did do that. But it was more stuff too. And I said, I didn't protect you, young lady. I didn't protect you, baby. I said, and you know what? You were strong and you were strong. And I pictured in my mind going back to that 8-year-old little baby. And I said, thank you. I said, you were the strongest one of all of us. I said, but if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have made it through that high school period. And then the 17-year-old brought me to my next phase. I went and got my babies. You hear me? And I made peace with my babies inside of me. And I said, from this point going forward, I will not allow anybody else to hurt you. You were strong. You protected me. You were there for me. Now let me be there for you. Come on, babies. Come on. Let me show you what we're doing now. And I brought my babies with me. And they've been right here ever since. And I don't let nobody. They got this thing on TikTok. You see this baby? Don't nobody better hurt my baby. Ain't nobody gonna hurt my baby. That's how I feel about my babies. I have them with me now, and ain't nobody gonna hurt my babies.
Amen.
I protect me with everything I got now. That's what we have to do with that first-hand emotion. And then anything that happens to you moving forward is your choice or not. And one last final point for me as far as that goes, a lot of men like to dangle the word marriage in front of. They want to dangle relationship and forever. Don't be, so what? Have a relationship with yourself. Most importantly, have a relationship with God. And when you have those two, if that's all you're left with, believe me, you have a lot there. You don't need nothing else. Nothing else. When you love you to that magnitude and you love God, I can guarantee you, I can tell you from personal experience, there has not been one lie, not one lie or any pain that I have gotten from my Heavenly Father. Not one. Ever since I married him. And I let people know I'm in a relationship. I don't say who it's with. It's none of their business. Yeah, I'm good. I don't care what you dangle in front of me. If you mean that, if that's what you really mean, I don't know. Because I'm going to go to him and ask him. God told me you were going to be my wife. Well, he didn't tell me. I haven't gotten that memo. Don't let them dangle that. See, that's why they use that as leverage. So even if you've never been married, if you trust God, trust him 100% and wait on him. Period.
Yeah, I agree with that. But, you know, when it comes to a relationship, what some people really don't believe in, they don't believe in, the Bible say that a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtain favor from the Lord. I hear some women saying, I can't find no man. I can't find no man. Where all the good men's at? Where all the good men's gone? Sisters, it ain't about that. The Bible clearly say the pattern is a man that finds a good wife, finds a good thing. And it happened like this. God brought Eve to Adam. He brought Rebekah to Abraham's son, Isaac. He brought Ruth to Boaz. God is the best matchmaker it is if we allow him to do it. But first, when you go back to Genesis, God had a unique relationship with Adam first. Eve was nowhere.
Right.
He put Adam to sleep. He took that rib out of that womb. He closed it up. He formed that woman around that rib. Before he brought that woman to Adam, he had a unique relationship with Eve. He had one with Adam first, then he had one with Eve, and then what God do? He brought her to the man. That's how relationships supposed to be. Because I have said this before on my show. It was this one sister, she said, I'm looking for a man. I don't know what no man's at. I said, well, what you been doing for yourself? And she said, all I do is stay home. And I have said this before on my show. I'm going to say it again. So for those of you that have heard it, I'm going to say it again. What I said was, it could be possible. You could be in your house looking at CNN or whatever, right? I said a man could be in a car. He could be coming down your road. He thinking about he trying to get to a destination. He ain't thinking about nobody but getting to his destination, wherever that's going to be. You looking at TV. His car go down on your road. He thinking I got a problem. He forgot his cell phone. He come knocking at your door, and you wondering who this is. You get up, and something compels you to open the door. You don't know what it is. You and this man talk. You let him, you bring your cell phone to the door. He use it, and y'all strike up a conversation. You don't know. Nobody knows how God can bring people together, even though it looked bad because that man's car went down. You sitting here on a Friday night eating your ice cream, thinking about something, and then God bring together. Because one thing about God, when it comes to God, there are no coincidences, really a lot of coincidences. There's not a lot of just lucked out, or I went to the zodiac sign and seen whether the moon is right and the stars are right. No, it's God. He orchestrates everything for his glory. Because the people, the relationship that I had just mentioned, Adam and Eve, Abraham's son, Isaac and Rebekah, Boaz and Ruth, even when it got down to Joseph and Mary, what a whole bunch of people don't realize is God had a purpose. Out of those individuals that I just talked about, guess what? Who came in? Jesus came in that situation because God will orchestrate all of these people to get together, you know what I mean? Because he had a plan and Jesus came into this world. You know what I mean? So when a man and woman get together, that woman, that man and woman, especially he following after God, he have a purpose in his life. The woman have a purpose in his life because both the man and woman need to know who they are, why they're here, and where they're going. When God bring a man and woman together, it's bigger than their relationship. Because like I said last night, I have said before, a man and a woman, that's the only Bible that the world could see. The world could get just a glimpse of Christ's relationship with the church. Because right now, Jesus is like the husband, the church is the bride. I mean, Jesus like the groom, and the church is like the bride. But when the Lord comes, that's where the big marriage is going to take place. When you meet the Lord up in the air, he's the husband and the church is the wife. You know what I mean?
But people
So
don't trust that, Tony. They don't trust that.
worldly people don't
They
trust it.
don't trust God, but they trust a man. Those
Yeah,
stinky
they
men.
will. Yep, they will.
They don't
Yeah,
trust
some of
God
them
now,
will.
but they'll trust a man in a New York second. And the problem with that is you keep asking yourself, why do I keep getting hurt? You trusted man after man after man. What's the difference between man and Christ? What's the difference between man and God? They are imperfect, and yet you trust in them instead of God. So flip it. Just change that part. I
That's
promise
right.
you. Even what if you do this? What if today you make it up in your mind to trust God and say, God, if it's your will that I go to my grave without a husband, I'll take it. As long as I can serve you and make you happy and be married to you, Father God, give me peace, give me joy, give me stability. And let me be rich with the wealth of your love and your wisdom. Is that not enough? Help me, Father God, to be as an individual what I would be in a marriage. Just let me be married to you and let me be happy with just you. And if it's your will that I move forward, then Father, I will. But just right now, Father God, let me just be happy with just me and you. Let that be enough for me, Father. When you put me to sleep, Father God, take whatever is in me for a man. Take it out of me, Father. Take it out of my private parts. Take it out of my heart. Take it out of my mind. Take it out of my memory, Father, that I should want anything other than you. And let me just move towards you, Father God, and move to please you. And let that be enough for me, Father God. I beg you this for all that's watching and everybody that wants peace, Father God. Give them that peace with just you. And then, Father God, if it's your will, then move them forward. But help them get to know themselves and especially get to pleasing you. That's where the joy is going to come. There's a difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is temporary, but joy,
Come in the morning.
but joy,
Yeah,
that
that's
comes from
right.
God, and the joy
That's
comes in
right.
the morning.
That's
And every
right.
time we wake up, we got another opportunity to please God. I want to
Amen.
leave you with those acronyms. You have the word forms, FORMS.
ORMS. Yep.
I have the word rises. I
Tell us
want you,
about
you
it.
can always rises. Are you compatible recreationally? We talked about that. You want to go kayaking and mountain climbing, you want to play games. No, you're not compatible. Intellectually, he's dumb as a box of rocks or she's dumb as a box of rocks and you, okay? The first S is spiritually, okay? Are you evenly yoked? Are you on the same page? Sometimes different religions make a whole, he might be Muslim and you might be Christian. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's going to work. She might be Catholic. He might be, what you call apostolic, Pentecostal. Okay, so spiritually, so that's RISE, emotionally. What if she's the type who, because she didn't receive love from her mother, because her mother was so bent on pleasing man, she never learned how to receive love? So no matter whenever the man comes, and Tony, you probably have experienced some women like this, maybe not. But no matter, you talked about that good guy earlier, no matter how much he goes towards her, how much he gives her, how much he promises her, how much he tries to do for her, she will not receive him because she never learned how to receive love. Are you emotionally yoked? emotionally? What if he's a man that cries? What if he's a man that is very emotional or very withdrawn? What if he doesn't even show emotions? You see? What happens when a little boy falls down? Get up, you bet not cry. What happens when a little boy gets the wind knocked out of him on the football field? Boy, shake it off. Come on over here and sit down, run around, jump around. Men are not even taught to have emotions or pay attention to them. So how are we supposed to give them all those emotions? Talking about, I need you to love me. They don't even know how to love themselves. They never learned to appreciate emotions. They couldn't be emotional. Boys were taught not to be that. So how is he going to take care of your emotions? You got to do that, sister. So emotionally, are you emotionally yoked? And the last one is sexually. You want a gentleman who can be sensual and loving and just very, intimate. And he's like, y'all know what that is. Y'all know what that is. Don't act like you don't know.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Yep.
I'm so sorry. But I'm just telling you that would be a problem. And then he may want to go every night. And then you might be the type that just, no, that's enough now. You see? And y'all flipping coins and paper, scissors, rock.
Hey, but you know what? What you said, she could say something like, "We just did something last night." Well, baby, that was last night. This another night. Come to Big Daddy.
and so you have to rises recreation, intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, and sexually. So that's another acronym we can add to forms. What the forms stand for, Tony? Forms.
Family.
Yes.
Occupation. Religion. Money.
Yep.
Sex. And that's how it is.
So those are two ways that you can look at. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you take, and let me tell you something, this is a secret that I actually made this up and it worked for me. So I'm gonna see if I could, if you can use it, then fine. Take the list of what you're looking for in a person and write it down on the right-hand side of a piece of paper. Every single thing you're looking for, write it down. Financially stable, handsome, good credit, whatever it is that you want this person to have, right? On the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, because under each one of them, draw a line going across. On the left-hand side, write the opposite of that, okay? All right, now you got two lists. Everything you're looking for and exactly the opposite, which is what you're not looking for. Now you got two ways to look at an individual, okay? But before you look at them, you look at that list again. There might be some things on that list that you ain't even got. You looking for a man with good credit and you got a 480 credit score. So you get it together. You go down that list, and until you can check each one of these things off that you possess those qualities, you can't ask for that because you are not that. Stop looking for stuff you yourself don't even do.
Right,
you ain't dependable. You late for everything. You always late, right? But you're looking for a man because you want balance. No, you need to be dependable yourself. Because guess what? When you looking for those things, if you find a man that's got all that, what you think he's looking for? A 480? I guarantee you he's not. He's looking for the same thing you are. So be that first. And then once you see all those things checked off, then guess what you can do? You can stop really because you can go look in the mirror and you just found the person you've been looking for your whole life.
Amen.
There it is. Come on, because you got all those qualities already.
All right. Now, from God's point of view, the real love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous. It doesn't boast. It is not rude, and it does not demand its own way. Love is not irritable. It keeps no record of wrongdoing. Love does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoice whenever the truth wins out. My brothers and my sisters, let me tell you this. This is a very good night. I'm glad you all became a part of the show because you could have been doing something else. I know it's the weekend, baby. Y'all could have been doing something else. But let me tell you, the best relationship, my brothers and sisters, is first to have a relationship with God through his son Jesus. You cannot have a relationship with God the Father without going through his son Jesus. God gave, like I was saying earlier, God, John 3:16, God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that everyone believe in him shall not perish and have everlasting life. So when it comes to a relationship, God gave his best. He gave his best in the son. When it comes to a relationship, my brothers and sisters, you have to be a giver, because God gave a good example when he gave his best. Brother, when it comes to a relationship, you got to give your best 100%. Sister, you got to give your best 100%. It ain't no 20-80. It ain't no 70-30. It ain't no 50-50, Lord. I'm not Teddy Pendergrass, but I'm just telling you, you got to bring 100% into the relationship, brother. I'm done. I love your sister, Miss Smith. I'm glad that you came by. I'm really, really glad, sister, you came by, and you beautiful. I told you, you didn't have to hide like you used to do. You didn't have to hide. Brothers and sisters, this is Miss Smith. She used to,
Woodard
you know,
Smith.
yeah, Woodard Smith. So some people say, well, she talked real good and stuff, but I can't see her. There she is. This my sister, my brother and sister. This lady is good. She on point. Hopefully, she come back to this show. I hope you come back before Jesus come. If he come tonight, you know, we could postpone the next show. We could postpone the next show if Jesus decide to come tonight.
Yes, sir.
We love you, brothers, and we love you, sisters. And guess what, my brothers and sisters? I hope that you all enjoyed Sister Woodard Smith. Hopefully she'll be back. Guess what? It's time. It's that time. It's that time. It's that time. My brother Genesis, like he brought us in, he about to take us off, my brother and sister. I hope that you all enjoyed Sister Michelle Woodard Smith. Woo, woo, woo. We love you. Peace out.